All right, good evening. I'm Jake Whitener. You're tuning in to Knuckleball Prime Time here at the barn, brought to you by Parkland Live. Tonight, my honor, my privilege to be here with some of my former players, two Fredericktown Blackcats, Easton Wood, Donnie Laut. The reason it's important to me, I had the opportunity to coach these guys. They were my first class coming in as freshmen to Fredericktown. So when Chad Winch here at the barn offered the opportunity, by all means, taking the chance to talk to you two. It's been a few years since I got to see you play this year. But with that being said, the chance to actually sit down and have conversation. So, you're both on the hot seat tonight, so just be ready for that. Anything goes, everything's live, just so you understand that. So I'm going to bounce back and forth, between both of you. I have two main questions that we got to start the evening with, right? I'm going to go with Easton first. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you and I have a lot of knowledge of each other.
Yep.
Got to know each other for quite a few years. Most important thing you have to choose right now for the rest of eternity that you're on this earth. You've got to choose deer hunting or turkey hunting. You can never do the other one. You can't do it. You have to choose.
This is easy. Turkey hunting all the way.
Why is it turkey hunting?
Oh, I love killing turkeys. I have since I was like a little boy. It's great.
Well, I agree. We're both hunters. We both love football. I would agree, though, that getting to know you through the years, turkey hunting was where it was at for you.
Oh, yeah, for
Took
sure.
a lot of pride. Took some days off school. We're not going to talk about that. Coach Williams, just know what's coming in the spring, though, if you don't see
Coach.
him. All right, Donnie, on to you, man. Donnie Laut the fourth, the big dog on campus at Fredericktown High School. All right, man, I got to ask you this. All right. Well, first I need to tell them that, you guys probably own the largest hog farm in southeast Missouri.
Yeah, we built our barns like 6 years ago to upsize, and we are the biggest in southeast Missouri.
How many head of swine do you have going right now?
Ooh, we started out with 5,000, and we're now close to almost 6,000 hogs.
Are you in charge of the whole operation? Is it going to be Donnie Laut the fourth farm here before too long?
That's the plan. I mean, I have a lot of years ahead of me. I mean, my grandpa's still not retired, so the fact is I probably won't be in charge for a long time, but there is a plan for this.
But you're saying Donnie Laut the fourth is going to be in charge of that farm one day?
I will be in charge of that farm.
Okay, so staying on the concept of bacon, this one's for you. This is a two-part question for you.
Okay.
Right, first one is this. Knowing the world of bacon that you live in, right, is bacon best served with eggs, BLT, wrapped around a little dove meat? How is bacon supposed to be served?
I'm going to go with eggs.
Eggs?
I like BLTs, but eggs are all the way.
Okay, so now we're going back into Chad Winch's. When he sets up each of these weeks, it's town versus town rivalry. Okay, so Farmtown boy, Fredtown boys, do you have to go with our homegrown Hunt's Dairy Barn, or do you have to go with the pig? That's the question of questions.
I will say I've only eaten at the pig twice, and it's just been this year. Like I don't get out of my house much, but I ate at the pig twice recently for being player of the week, and let me tell you, hands down the pig. Hands down.
I don't know. We may get here all night on competition on that. So, Easton, what are you saying?
I'm backing up Donnie with that. I'm going pig all the way.
At least you guys are sticking to your roots because it's Hunt's Dairy Bar the whole way. So just know that. Right, not knocking the pig at all, but once you've tasted the double Western cheeseburger with bacon up here, I don't know if you can go back. So, just saying. So to introduce these guys just a little bit more, Donnie has been a tremendous work ethic down at Fredericktown for the years that he's been a part. They're both seniors this year. Easton has also played a tremendous part. Started week 10. Against Potosi his freshman year. Ever since then, dove into a starting role, been all across the board. Donnie on the flip side, same thing, worked himself up. This year is probably the most underweight offensive lineman in the MAFC, coming in at 155 pounds, playing guard?
Left guard.
Left guard, one of the studs up front, one of the hoggies. So that's why I was asking you all those bacon questions, man. If you're a hog up front, normally you're like a 250-pound dude.
I really don't even know what to say. I eat so much food, don't know where it goes. I try. I really do try.
Well, it's all part of it, man. I would love to have the metabolism that you have, to be able to eat it and not gain the weight. I look at it, I gain the weight. So, it is part of it. It's just part of it. One day you'll fill it out. Maybe when you own that hog farm, you'll fill it out. So moving on here, I actually want to get into, the whole reason we're up here. I love getting to know you guys again, 2 years away from the program. I am going to say thank you to these fellas. They remembered my birthday yesterday, so they got me a nice little farting card, which I already read. I do appreciate that. I haven't opened up what they got me. Coming from former players, it's always nice. Oh, we got some hunt-topoly going on there. Hunting-opoly, I told you it was perfect. Hadn't even got to see this and asked you guys about hunting season. So, diving into that, we're here for business. Let's talk a little football with each other. So I'm gonna start with you, Easton. Going in, you had a transition. I left the end of your guys' sophomore year. God obviously had a plan, so we'll just go that route. You've transitioned with Coach Williams coming in. Mm-hmm. Steve comes back from Tennessee. He's from Cape. He knows the area. He knows the programs. So you transition year one. You guys have a little bit of a hiccup here and there, trying to get the momentum. What has been the biggest turning point year one to year two under Coach Williams?
People are really buying into the program now. I mean, we've had the most guys I've ever seen for a football team in my 4 years, and we've stayed consistent with that number. There hasn't been people quit. People keep joining, and people are just starting to really get a grasp on the program that he runs, because last year we had almost all the starters we have this year. So everything's clicking. Everybody's...
Well, you guys are finally getting that little bit of continuity with each other. Sure. If you're returning starters year one to year two, you trust each other, which I know is a big thing in trying to, quote unquote, restructure a program.
Yeah, for sure.
So, going off of that, transitioning, what has made you guys, because I did get to watch you guys play this year, and we'll talk about that game a little later. What was the biggest selling point for guys to actually buy in this year?
Well,
I mean, it could simply just be the fact that you guys do get to trust each other a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
I know you guys made a little bit of a shift with the defensive coordinator job. Coach Tipton took over, huge Coach Tipton fan. But sometimes that is just the selling point of getting to know each other just a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So if you had to go back, did he simplify the offense at all? Did the defense get a little bit easier?
I would say, I don't know if it necessarily got easier, but I think it's just us learning the whole process of that, getting that in our brains, and really just getting a lot of reps for it.
Sure. Completely understand. I mean, it takes the repetition to trust each other.
Yeah, for sure, because we kind of just jumped into it right there, year one, and we're still learning it at that point.
And that's the one thing that's kind of a little bit hard, and I'm going to talk about hard work here in a second with Donnie, but you have to be able to trust the fact that the coach is knowing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Coming in year one, you have to buy in. Year two, obviously, you start to see the hard work and the payoff. So, Donnie, going to ask you on that. We talked about you being in the MAFC, which is not an easy conference. You guys do not have an easy schedule. What's it like inside the tackles, being a 155-pound lineman going against some of these teams that you're playing?
Well, to be honest, it even goes back to my freshman year. I didn't even know what position I was going to be playing. I mean, I was all over the field. I mean, you remember, I was going everywhere across the field. I could never even find really a spot for me. And then my junior year, I got put in the O-line. Sophomore year, it was a joke. They were going to put me on the O-line and C, and I played 2 reps for JV. And I kind of liked it, so junior year, I jumped into it, and it was just tremendous. And then
I actually remember that because we actually had an injury, I think, leading up to that JV game. And I believe you were filling in. You were like second string receiver on JV that year for that game. And there was an injury, and they said, well, we can always put Donnie. And you're like, sure, I'll try it. It says something about your hard work, though, and the dedication you have, to be willing to try offensive line at 155 pounds. But going back these last couple weeks, you face a team in contention in Class 2 of Valley. You go back, you look at Central, who's got some big dudes. Down at field level, they were some big dudes. What has to go through your mind to prep yourself to know that everything you have to do has to be correct to be successful?
I like to take the lineman job as just the job itself. When people ask me in the locker room or at school if I'm locking in for this game, I always tell them the same answer. I don't lock in. I have a job to do, and I will do my job fully to my best ability.
And I admire that because you've always been a kid that has said with confidence in the years I've known you that if you're going to do something, you do it. Watching you in the weight room grow, watching both of you grow, you dedicate yourself and you push through. So talking about pushing through, that brings me to this next one, Easton. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you a little bit of stats here. Okay. So your freshman year, you wind up starting the end. So this doesn't really, go into you necessarily on offense. 2021, Fredericktown scores 200 points on the season. You go into 22, we go down to 108 points a season. We had a little bit of a transition in athletes, this and that. 23, you guys score up 124 points on the season. Do you guys know how many points you've scored through 4 games this year? If you had to take a quick guess. I know a lot of athletes don't check stats. 81 points. A pretty good guess, man. 81 points through 4 games. So to hear you guys say that it's a lock-in and focus, or to hear you guys say it's the trust factor, I mean, the trust must be there. Mm-hmm. Do you guys know how many points you had through 4 games last year?
It was not many at all. Probably 14. 13
points. Man, you're close. 13 points through 4 games last year. Ooh. So that tells you the trust factor that you guys have. So, that's what I want to ask you. What we've already hit that, the trust is there. What's been the biggest improvement outside of trust and knowing the program? What gets said in that locker room or in those meetings on Monday when you guys are game planning? What is said to have you guys believe that you can score 81 points in 4 games compared to last year's 13?
Mm-hmm. Well, we have much more experience coming into this, so we're confident in that. And we're really over the whole losing mindset in Fredericktown. We're ready to prove that wrong. And
well, I think you said it. I think you said perfect right there that you're past that loser's mindset. Mm-hmm. And I think that was one of the biggest things, one of the biggest turnarounds through years to come and still to come is the fact that the trust factor is there. We know you guys trust each other, but watching, as Chad and I will talk in a little bit with you guys, talking about the fact that Central game was one of the best games that we've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. There was no doubt that the trust was there, the validity of knowing each other, knowing who's lining up and what route they're going to run. So, that kind of leads into what I want to ask you, Donnie. All right, the no-lose factor, that's out the window. You guys in the MAFC, St. John, Potosi, Valley, Park Hills, what is that locker room like as a team? We know what you said you're like. You got a job to do. What is that mental mindset inside the Fredericktown and Blackcat Valley locker room?
I think when we play against other teams, I know the other team's mindset is this is Fredericktown. This can be an easy walk by, and like Easton said, it's like we have nothing to lose. We only have stuff to prove out here, and let's just get it done and do the best of our abilities.
And is that from every facet of the game? So I mean, you're talking offense, defense, special teams. You guys played almost a nearly flawless game. For 1 week though. Now you're diving in. You've got at Potosi this coming Friday in 2 days from now, a team that has been all across the board with you guys. We've been blown out, and I'll say it, I've been blown out when I was your guys' coach. And then we turn around and then we play a very close, playoff game with them. What's got to be the mindset knowing when you guys look at that schedule, whether you're opening with Perryville, who's had a pretty decent year, Herky's not as great as they were, the first year that we took them on schedule. You guys had your first shutout against them. What's the mindset going in knowing that schedule?
Whew, man, knowing the schedule, I mean, we look at it this way. When we see the other teams, we like to do a lot of film review on them, and we look at where we've become and where the other teams have become. Like Potosi, like you said, it's been up and down in years. Like we either get blown out or it's a neck and neck game.
And do you guys take that approach in every film session that we have nothing to lose any longer? I mean, is that what Coach Williams preaching to you guys, that we're not going to be that team in the conference and district anymore, that we're going to take the beatings? It's our turn to beat back.
Yeah, he said Coach Will going into I think Central's game is, we have nothing to lose here. He says the one good thing about Fredericktown is when we get hurt, we get back up and play it. We play all the way through 100%.
And I'll attest to that. I mean, there's something different in Madison County. You cross that line, So you can hear about teams saying, built St. Francis County tough. Okay, what's that mean? I really think there's something that when you cross that boundary line into Madison County, there is something different about the young men down there. I don't know whether it is the fact that you guys have grown up on farms. You know what it's like to work, because I'll attest to that. I've seen you guys work. So to hear Coach Will implement that, a guy who was from Cape, he knew the area well when he took this job. It's great to see that being implemented in that mental mindset. So that brings me on back to you, Easton. Mental mindset. Two-way starter, quarterback for the last 2 seasons, some as a sophomore, okay, due to injury. You're also free safety.
Yep.
What is that mental mindset for you, knowing that you've got to control, because as the safety, you do control the back half of that defense. You control that offense. How are you able to control your mind with the game speed?
I keep it simple. I focus a lot on offense because I'm new to that position. I haven't played that my whole life. I've been doing it for 2 years. I really focus on reading defenses and all that. But defense, I get out there. I trust the guys I play with. We all know what we're doing. We're clicking the same page. And I've played defense my whole life. I have a pretty decent idea of how things work. So, yeah, I just get out there, have fun on defense. And
I will say you do have fun on defense, because as Chad Speaker and I called the Central game, there was a hit where you came down from your safety position on an outside run. We're wearing headphones here. You hear a little bit of what's around you. You're probably 50 yards away, and we hear a hit from the safety position when Jackson Jones broke it outside, that I had to take my headphones off and ask Chad. I said, was that the tackle? And at that point, I looked at his eyes, and it was like an explosion of, holy smokes. I've never seen a safety come downhill like that. And then, Donnie, I'm pretty sure you had one on special teams too that game. And the only reason I laugh and joke about you is the excitement on the sideline, which is, I'm coming to you with this, Donnie. That sideline looks to enjoy football. It looks like whatever is going on in Black Cat Valley is true excitement anymore. I mean, is that what Coach Will is trying to implement?
Yeah, that's literally what he's trying to implement, is to the younger guys that football is a game and it's a sport, and they all love it. Coming off that sideline after that hit, it was just all celebration. Like that whole Central game, the sideline, I mean, it really helped. Like you could hear them cheering, yelling for us and everything. Our sideline's different this year. And
I'll attest to the crowd. I mean, hearing the crowd, and I've only got to see the Central game, so I keep bringing that one up. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse one way or the other about, Central this, Central that. But the fans, the sideline, it seemed like the entire community has bought into Coach Will, you guys, what you're doing in Black Cat Valley. I mean, there truly is. And, I will say this, I'm not going to plug myself on this. That was what the whole thought process was down there. Change the community, change the culture, get the outcomes. So to get outcomes, right, what team on your schedule is it going to take beating, because the old coach cliche, you're a nobody until you beat somebody you're not supposed to. So, Donnie, I'm going to ask you first. When you see that roster or that schedule that comes out for Fredericktown, what's the one team that if you guys beat, you see that flip script to where nobody is going to slouch on Fredericktown anymore?
Honestly, I think it's our upcoming one, Potosi. I'm going through school, going through town. We just have a very love-hate relationship with Potosi.
Okay, and I'm going to agree. I'm not going to cut you off. I'm going to let you finish this, because whatever it was, there was always tension there. And I played against North County, and I'm peeking over here at Chad, because the blue and gold versus the black and gold, we love each other now. We hated each other then. What is it about Potosi? Like, what is that tension?
Honestly, I really don't even know. This could probably go back farther than me, but all I know is it's one of those things when you play Potosi, you play your heart out because you want to win. And I think this week, I'm really hoping that this is our comeback year.
What do you think, Easton? Who's that one team?
I would say Park Hills or St. John. I feel like those are really big games. Everybody knows who they are, and I feel like if we come out and beat them, then people are going to really start respecting us.
So since you say Park Hills, let's jump into this, okay? So we go back week 3, okay? Week 1, I truly think, having watched your film, because we kind of get some film sometimes knowing that who we're gonna broadcast. What was the mindset going into Park Hills? Easton, you first. What was the mindset Park Hills week? You're 1-1. You just came off of a defensive stand, 13-0 shutout over Herky.
our mindset, going back to what we've said earlier, we have nothing to lose. Let's get out here and shock the world. And I really feel like we went out there and proved a point almost to other teams. I mean, the game obviously didn't go how we wanted it to in the end, the outcome. But I feel like we did a good job setting ourselves up for the rest of the season, giving us confidence, and we can build off of that and showing people that we can hang around with these better teams.
So knowing what the mindset was going in, we have nothing to lose. Donnie, asking you this, because I know what that locker room can be at halftime, having been in there with you guys. What was the mindset at halftime of that game?
Our mindset was, if we continue doing our job, this we could stop Park Hill Central. I mean, we walked in the locker room, there wasn't too much cheering. I mean, we were pretty pumped up with, like, the scoreboard, but coaches came out, they talked to us and said, the game's not over yet. I was like, this is where Park Hill Central really turns our program around. I was like, this is where our defense really needs to come out and stop them right here.
I think it goes back to what you said, you attested to. It's the lock-in and focus, because not only for 4 quarters, we got to see 2 extra periods with you guys. You know, I truly think, and I'm going to say for both of you, you're not wrong on the team you need to beat. You know, from watching you guys and having seen this program, you beat Central week 3, defending state champs, which we know that they're not last year's program. They're a little banged up right now with Jackson Jones at quarterback. But with that being said, I mean, there's absolutely, I think your season maybe changes. Obviously, you come into Valley the following week, which Valley Catholic is a dynamic program, and it's a beast of its own. But you're not wrong. I think you guys beat there. I think you compete maybe even a little bit better than you did with Valley. It wound up being, I believe, 61-20 that game. But still, scoring points on a Valley Catholic team says something. You know, they're going to do what they want to do with most teams. But you're not wrong either, Donnie. I really think if you guys beat you beat Potosi this week, I mean, I think that changes the whole second half of your season, because you're only halfway through. And you guys are in a position with the district play to where you can really set yourselves up for maybe even home games, you know, come that point. So now let's finish the Central game. Okay? We've exchanged interceptions. We keep marching the field back and forth. We get into that overtime periods. You have that timeout. What is your thought process as the quarterback, as a two-way starter, knowing you're not leaving the field? What's it like knowing you've got a chance to beat the Central Rebels?
Oh, our thought process is we have to get out here and execute. This is it. We have our chance, and let's go out here and win this game. That's what we were thinking.
And walk me through, you know, I'm not going to make you relive the end, because we talked after the game. You know, I had a chance to run into you guys. Donnie, what was the mindset? What was the mentality of the coaches, the players? Did it feel like you guys came away with more positives in that game, or did it feel like you guys saw yourself as, man, we lost to Central again?
No, honestly, I mean, the game was a bummer. I mean, it's a loss is a loss, but I mean, the next day, just thinking, going back over film, going over review, and even what Coach was telling us is we've learned a lot that game. We learned that doesn't matter what team you are, we can stand up to you. So, moving forward then, you know, what does it take going into Potosi this week? You know, I know what you're going to say. I know you both well enough to know when I say what's it going to take to beat Potosi. What's it going to take for you guys to walk out and know that you're on the right track, you've bought into Coach Williams and what he's doing, the defense is playing, the offense is playing. What's it going to take as a team to walk away with a win at Potosi?
We all have to execute, obviously, and a big thing is keeping our minds in the right place, not making mental errors, not making penalties in big situations on the goal line, stuff like that. Just coming out there, playing the best game we can, and executing to the best of our ability.
So, Donnie, to go with Potosi, 2 days away, it's the team that you say if you beat, it probably transforms what's to come. What's it like knowing the way Potosi plays? You know, they're going to pin their ears back. They're going to come after you. What's it like to know to be that undersized left guard in a situation where you're in for a dogfight? Because I've been waiting to say that word to you, right? Because there's a lot of dog in 155-pound Donnie Laut, right? What's it like to be in those trenches knowing this is the team that I think can change our season and maybe promote Fredericktown for years to come?
Man, being on the line is just it's something else. It's a different feeling. I mean, I love it with my heart. I could not even imagine me playing a different position. But going into Potosi, I've been doing some research on them. I've been watching film. I know how they play and their line. You can't underestimate their line. That's what I'm going in as. I'm going 10 years back, going full force. I'm going to do it to the best of my abilities, and I'm going to try my best.
That's all you can do. I mean, knowing that you guys have nothing to lose as Coach Will keeps implementing for you guys, nothing to lose. So last question for you guys on the night, okay? And I think this means probably more than just a few seconds of thinking this through, okay? What with this program, the way it is shifting, and you guys you guys were a special class when you came in as freshmen. We all knew that. We knew this was the class to probably self-promote the Blackcats here in Black Cat Valley. What do you hope the younger kids behind you guys take off of your leadership that you're implementing this year or years past? What is that one thing, Donnie, that you hope either those undersized linemen or those kids behind you at any position take away from Donnie Laut IV when they leave the program?
That anyone can do it. And it doesn't matter what size you are, where you come from, anything. I mean, it's possible. And I hope I'm a really good example of seeing that. And I really hope the younger generations look at me and actually see where I started and where I become. And I hope they take that with their best ability.
What do you think, Easton? What's the one thing you want to leave behind in Black Cat Valley when you guys finish out this season?
I want them to look back on this and be like, wow, I really think seeing these guys play out here that we can continue to win and turn this program a complete 360 and win in the future, in the days to come, in years to come, yeah.
And I truly think that watching, and again, I'm going to emphasize this one game because I haven't had the chance. I've been on other games. I think that Friday night in Black Cat Valley, watching the Central Rebels, I mean, panic on their sideline, calm, cool, collect on the Fredericktown sideline. To see that shift in culture, to see that shift in mentality, I mean, I think it takes leadership like you guys to promote exactly what you're saying. Anybody can do it. Any team can do it. Stop being the punching bag in our conference and just do it. Nothing to lose mentality. Fellas, I appreciate it. Donnie Laut IV, Easton Wood, Fredericktown Blackcats 2 nights away from playing at Potosi. This Friday night, Sykeston comes to Farmington for homecoming. It will be brought to you live by Knuckleball Prime Time here at the Barn.